Africa has the potential to be a global agricultural powerhouse. Yet today, changing weather patterns and fierce competition for its mineral and agricultural wealth is threatening the continent's ability to feed its own people. As its deserts grow bigger and its droughts become more frequent, those who live off the land face an uncertain future. The recent discovery of resources like oil and gas hold great promise for development. Global superpowers are once again looking to Africa to secure the natural resources they need to drive their own economies. But smallholder farmers who have the potential to lift their communities out of poverty face an immense struggle. A small group of dedicated organizations are working across the continent to ensure the rights of smallhold farmers to their own land are upheld.
Eu nasci de uma família camponesa e estou a herder minha família camponesa. Desde a minha nascença, sou camponês. Dizer que como é que nós se sentimos, nós não estamos seguros com a vinda desses investidores. Nós estamos preocupados porque muitos camponeses estão a perder as suas terras.
Since the discovery of natural gas off the coast 10 years ago, Mozambique's economy has been booming, growing at an average of 6% per annum. Portugal, Brazil, China, Japan, and its neighbour South Africa have all been clamouring for a stake in the country's newfound wealth. New roads and bridges compete with newly built skyscrapers to reshape the skyline of its capital, Maputo. This is what is keeping Costa and his fellow smallholder farmers awake at night. They fear losing land as the government of Mozambique rushes to conclude intergovernmental agreements with its new partners.
E outra coisa, eu sendo camponês, 100% camponês, se vejo outro camponês lacrimado porque perdeu as suas terras, eu também perdi minha terra. Dia que eles vão sair lá, vão procurar um espaço de terra. Significa minha terra, eu tenho que tirar uma parte para eles, então eu também estou a perder terras.
This is the project that is keeping Costa awake at night. It's called the Pro Savannah and has the full support of the Mozambique government.
Government has signed a memorandum with the Brazilian government and Japan government for an agribusiness project called Pro Savannah. 19 districts will be involved and many smallholder farmers will be affected by these projects. The communities are afraid to lose their land because they don't know how Pro Savannah projects will be implemented without land grabs. And we as bar associations, we are also involved in this project in terms of ensure protections of communities' rights, community land rights. We have challenged the government before the court of law just to ensure that the lands of the communities are not taken over by these projects, to ensure also the access to information and participations of the communities and civil society organizations.
The Bar Association of Mozambique says the project will need 14.5 million hectares in 19 districts. Their legal challenge has slowed down the process to ensure the government consults with smallhold farmers.
O governo de Moçambique continua apostado no desenvolvimento do corredor de Nacala, reconhecendo as diversas estruturas que nós temos, desde produtores de pequena escala, que cobrem 90% da população do corredor. Também temos produtores acima disso, sendo que alguns estão organizados em associações, outros estão organizados em cooperativas. Mas também temos uma pequena porção desta população que representa produtores líderes com capacidade internacional.
But it is not just farming land that is under threat from the so-called investment drive by multinational businesses. The country's beautiful coastline is being developed at pace, and dozens of new hotels and resort complexes have sprung up. Emilia Oliveira from the Community Land Initiative, or ITC, is working to ensure the locals who fished along this coast for centuries are still able to access it.
There are some situations, sad situations, where they build those beautiful mansions by the coast and interrupt a natural access of fishermen to the water.
Working with government and other NGOs, Emilia has been able to assist these in Gaia province in getting certificates of ownership for their land. This has helped them obtain modern equipment to help improve their yields, so they are better able to feed their families.
Anofamba lomu ka va mashamberi ni hamba xikoropa ni hola ni dlisa a vatsongwana se sweswi ni nga nghena la association ndi pfune ko ku ta kola association ndarima kuma leswi ya ni dlisa vatsongwana sweswi se hi nga kuma ku a mfumo hi pfuna hi ku hi tisela a maproject ya ku ta hi dyondzisa hi tiva ku rima hi tlhela hi xavisa.
Just north of Mozambique lies Zambia. The country has managed to avoid the wars that have marked much of Africa's post-colonial history. The landlocked country, like its neighbour, has seen rapid economic growth over the last decade. It is Africa's second largest copper producer after the Democratic Republic of Congo. But this growth, which is driven by massive Chinese investment, has failed to improve the lives of most Zambians. Many people in Zambia still live in abject poverty. Many are smallhold farmers. Experts say a lack of coherent land policy is impacting farmers' willingness to invest in the land. A draft policy was submitted, but it did not provide adequate protection for smallhold farmers.
There are two interest groups which are on the extreme ends. One is government and their priorities. The other one are the traditional leaders, who are the chiefs and their head persons. They have different groups. Now, when you look at the traditional leaders, they govern land according to their customs, their cultures and traditional norms, and which do not embrace transparency. The government is perceived to be pro-investment, large-scale land-based investment, and commercial farming, and so forth. And this is perceived to be at the expense of the local communities.
For me, in this chiefdom, the issue is for the subjects, because even when an investor comes and he wants a huge piece of land, the bottom line is to see, is this investment going to benefit the local people? We said finally we need to give a document to a person to indicate that that piece of land has been given and allocated, and traditionally within the powers of the traditional leader, he or she is able to hold that certificate and that piece of land.
Chief Ndage is one of many traditional leaders that have been working with the Zambia Land Alliance to issue land holding certificates to women. The certificates give single women rights to farm and to inherit rights, which were previously not given. More than 12,000 certificates have been issued by traditional leaders in the last few years. It's a major step in improving food security for the country and entrenching women's rights.
Pakalipo pesa kaiva wakuti kana power kuti paswera tinali kuvutika na mandembazo katolima tia iwe ndo mkazi sunga kale na landi kuru bafuna kujua batenge so pamene kunabwera ko Land Alliance vamba kutiphunzisa vite services so mpeni napeza mphamvu yakuti niende nikatenge pepa kuti nikale nene wamasuka kulima palandi yanga nani nikale my own land.
But having rights to farm your land does not ensure you can farm successfully. Mining is the biggest contributor to the country's GDP. Here, in the country's copper belt, foreign-owned mines provide vital employment and government revenue, but these often come at the expense of farmers in the area.
Obwafya ubwa olukungu lufuma pa tailings dam palaba olukungu ichine chino olukulu chawutira limono kwipika abantu tabepikira pansi nangufi bengishe munganda nishitaba ipikeyo nokulya tabadie pansi iyo nangufi bengire munganda tabadire mwefya kulya nombolo olukungu walituchusha pa myaka yingi muri iyo nshira chire pigulo okutira ubumi bwesu buli mu busanso.
The mine is also pumping effluent into the river that irrigates his farm. The Zambian Institute of Environmental Management is trying to compel foreign investors to reduce the impact they have on the environment and small farmers in particular. They are also working with these farmers to ensure they understand the impact of changing weather patterns so they are better prepared to deal with it.
With the water pollution, the farmers, of about 150 farmers, they are losing 10 million kwacha. By the way, 10 million kwacha in dollars, we just knocked down 1-0. We have done a number of trainings with the farmers, trying to, first of all, conscientize them about the impact of mining effluent, because those are the things that they are grappling with every day.
After decades of struggle against colonial rule, countries like Mozambique and Zambia finally have the opportunity to harness its natural resources for the benefit of its people. With global demand for those resources on the rise, it's tempting for governments to sell them to the highest bidder in the name of funding future growth and development. But changing weather patterns are bringing higher levels of uncertainty than ever before. One thing that is for certain is that those who have rights to farm their own land are more likely to invest in it. For those who work to ensure this, there is still lots of work to be done.